Hello, hello! Welcome to a Horror Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and soon-to-be ex-fiancé, Karradyne.
I don't like the sounds of that.
Why not? You're going to be my wife.
I don't like the sounds of that.
You hate being my possible wife.
Yes, that's what I don't like. Exactly.
You're going to say hi to the people?
Hello, people.
Hey, and this is episode 8, right?
I thought last episode was episode 8. Is this episode 8?
I think it might be. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, crap. Uh-oh, I'm panicking. Oh, no. Our Patreon is live. We're currently have 2 patrons. Yeah, 2 patrons.
2 patrons on the Patreon.
There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Please support. We will be giving away Tony Hawk and Anxious People. It's only $2 a month. You join in. We're going to start uploading more content soon into it. We're probably going to do a deep dive into today's book because I find it really cool. And I think Karradyne enjoyed it, even though she was freaked out the entire time.
I was so freaked out.
So please tell your friends that we have a Patreon. They should join if they want a chance at winning Tony Hawk and Anxious People. Also tell your friends about our socials. They are at anovelconsole on Instagram and on Twitter. We post there probably once a week, so we won't spam you that much. And you'll be up to date knowing when our episodes drop, which they drop every Friday, and you can find them on all major podcast streaming platforms.
Except Pandora.
There we go. Apart from that, if you don't really feel like spelling it, you can just copy and paste it off of our show notes. You can find them in the episode description, wherever you listen to your podcast. And we didn't really do much this week, did we?
No. Everything is just kind of on pause leading up to the wedding. It's like last minute stuff to get done. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, we lost the best man. Like, I think we said that. I'm not sure if we did.
We lost the officiant.
Yeah. So now we have your mother's husband.
Yes.
Who's going to be the officiant.
Tony!
And
coming in clutch.
And we have my buddy Nick. He's going to be the best man. And I told him, I think it was a week ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and he started asking me questions, and I was answering the questions about what to wear and whatnot. This past weekend, we hung out at Centino's, which is from last week's episode. Amazing, delicious pizza. If you want some delicious pizza and you're in the Oviedo/East Orlando area, go visit Santino's, because
even if you're not, it's worth the drive.
Damn, that is amazing pizza. So we hung out at Santino's, and apparently I didn't do a good job answering those questions.
He made this poor guy think that he bought his Chris made him think that Chris bought his own Sperry's at Walmart. Walmart does not carry Sperry's.
I don't know what Sperry's are.
Sperry knockoffs. Sperry's are like fairly middle class fancy shoes if shoes were in like a class space system.
I am not middle class or fancy.
That's why your parents bought them for you.
They also bought me some work shoes, and those died like a week after.
Granted, yeah, you walk a lot, so but anyway, the most entertaining part of the night is the fact that this friend and his fiance brought their little girl with them. She is almost 2 years old, and us two adamant no childbearing folks, we fell in love with this little girl. She
was not playing fair. That baby was not playing fair.
No, she definitely wasn't. Even with her little, like, semi-angry face, because she had just woken up. She wasn't exactly thrilled to be there.
Oh, she was adorable.
Still so cute.
Didn't you see her eating French fries?
Yes. It was the cutest thing ever.
Luna, come here. Come here, let me cuddle you.
Luna's the cutest thing ever, but this baby's a close second.
That baby. That was a cool baby.
That was a very cool baby. She loves Star Wars, and she's not even 2 years old yet.
I think that's one of the coolest babies I've ever met.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And you were worried that you were going to be weird around babies last week.
I mean, we still didn't interact with her all that much. We kind of just like looked at her from across the table and waved at her and smiled. And we gave her high fives.
And we shook her
hand as we left. It was so cute. She wanted to shake our hands. This was all initiated by her. As we were standing out in the parking lot and it was sprinkling and she was catching the rain. It was so cute.
She was not catching the rain. She was water bending.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know anything about that stuff. Except the bald kid.
Aang?
Yeah.
Don't call him the bald kid.
He's the bald kid.
Okay. Whatever. Are you ready to go into your section?
No, there was one more thing that happened this week that was kind of fun.
What happened?
Well, y'all know that we watch a lot of Food Network. And this past week, we happened to catch an episode of Chopped with, how do you pronounce it? Alton Brown. So then Chris decided that he was going to introduce me to Cutthroat Kitchen. Oh my God! Those people are vicious and crazy.
Okay, so just
Alton is crazy.
So just so that you can watch the episode that we watched, it is the one and only episode that they have of Cutthroat Kitchen on Food Network. No,
Hulu.
On Hulu.
It was the only episode.
It's the only episode they have.
Really? You looked?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was insane. Like that one girl had to make pasta in
spaghetti bolognese. Bolognese. However you say it. Yeah.
She had to make bolognese sauce
in an Italian coffee pot. She got sent home, to say the least. Spoiler alert!
It was funny because Alton brought it out, and he is just cackling like a maniac. Like he is dying, and I see it because it's what I used to make coffee over here.
And I was telling
and I just start laughing my ass off, and Ken's like, "I can't believe somebody's gonna have to cook with that. Is it true? Is it gonna happen?" I was like, "Yep, it's gonna happen."
And I was telling Chris, several years ago when I went to Dragon Con, the last time I went to Dragon Con, I've only been twice, but the second time I got to meet Stanley, rest in peace. But my friends and I were like, we need to get in line really early, because even though we bought these, I guess like tickets to meet him, we had a feeling there was going to be a really long line, so we're rushing. We get there, and there is like this line wrapped around downtown Atlanta. I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Con, but it takes place at like the 5 huge hotels in the heart of downtown Atlanta. This massive line. I was like, oh, fuck y'all. We're not going to get this picture. All these people have got to be in line for Stan Lee. Nope. Alton Brown was doing a panel, and all these crazy motherfuckers were in line to see him. Not Stanley. Stanley, there were like 5 people ahead of us. Rest in peace.
That just goes to show you how crazy nerds are over Food Network.
But the thing is, I feel like these were the people who were only at Dragon Con to see Alton Brown. They weren't there for anything else. That was all they were there for. They literally paid for Dragon Con tickets just to see him.
Alton Brown is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I can tell.
We watched that one episode of Chop. We watched one episode of a whole season of Chopped where it was Alton Brown's challenge where he picked out the baskets.
That's intense.
And like the 2 baskets that we saw was
sauerkraut cake. What the fuck is that?
It's bananas. The dude is fucking crazy.
What else was in that thing? Something weird. Pickled green strawberries.
Oh God. And that they had to pair that with the... Didn't he have passion fruit too in that one?
Yes. Passion fruit, sauerkraut cake, pickled green strawberries, and something else really strange. And it was a dessert basket. Anyway,
the dude is crazy.
We digress.
The dude is crazy.
Super cray.
All right, now you're ready?
For more crazy? Yes.
You want to watch some more Cutthroat Kitchen?
No, we can go to book crazy now.
Oh. All right. So it's time for book talk.
this week's book is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. I only had to practice that 5 times. It's translated by Yuji Oniki and published by Viz Media LLC on October 15th, 2013. So it's about 7 years old.
And the translation for this book, it is very English. It doesn't have any of the Japanese isms like kun, sama, chan, and san at the end of the names like traditional Japanese translations should have. But I think that kind of falls into that same category, which I didn't talk about this last week with The Evil Within. But there's a lot of Latino characters in The Evil Within, and they don't throw in random Spanish words. I really fucking hate that when they do that in media.
I think you did talk about that.
I'm not sure, but...
maybe you did in my head.
But I don't know if Japanese people feel that way about this. I think it's kind of cool because we get to learn a little bit more Japanese, but at least this book, this translation of this book, doesn't have that.
So... I blame Chris for all of my nightmares this week because he convinced me to read this. So it all started like last year around Christmas when we got this Barnes & Noble catalog that he decided he wanted to peruse, and he told me he wanted some Junji Ito manga. So what did I get him for Christmas? This shit of nightmares. I had no idea what I was buying.
No, you didn't get me this one book. You got me...
Well, no, but I got you other things by him that are also horror, right?
Yeah, you got me Smashed and Shiver. This one is a collection of stories. Uzumaki is a collection of stories that have to do with each other, would have to do with the overarching plot line and whatnot.
Spiral into horror.
And Smashed and Shiver are more standalone stories.
Okay.
So they don't have anything to do with each other, but they're still Junji Ito's fucked up brain.
It's different characters?
Yeah,
okay.
all different characters.
Uzumaki at least follows the same 2 main characters the whole time.
I think there might be a monster, because I know there's a couple of characters in some of the stories that do carry over, but then you get some of them when they were children, then when they were adults, then sometime in the middle. And I think one of the monsters in that story is actually in one of his other books, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't read it yet.
So I read manga before, and I didn't dislike it, but it is not my favorite by any means. Don't you dare ask me to watch anime. I'm not doing it. I don't care for it. Please and thank you. I went into this thinking it would probably be like Death Note, got some Ryuk in there, or Ryuk, whatever the heck his name is. I was really wrong.
I told you it was pure horror when I told you that.
But like Death Note is horror to me. Look at that dude. He's freaky. That's horror.
Ryuk looks like
horror.
James Wood in the Hercules movie.
Oh, he does.
Oh, now you see that?
Yes. AKA Hades.
James Woods.
Hades.
The devil himself.
Hades?
James Woods.
Oh my god. Anyway. Jesus Christ. Okay, so Uzumaki follows Shuchi, and we've fought over this name pronunciation all night. How do you say it again?
It's Kirie.
Kirie. 2 teenagers who are in love. Things start to go downhill in a spiral.
That's good. That's a good one.
When Shuchi's father becomes obsessed with spirals, collecting things like coils, staring at snails like they're the most magical creatures ever, and going straight up batshit cuckoo-cachoo, to be quite frank.
In the beginning, Kirie sees Shushi's dad, and she starts talking to him, and then she runs into Shushi, and she's like, oh, I saw a guy that I thought it was your dad, but he was staring at a snail. He's like, no, yeah, that was my dad.
He's obsessed with spirals.
It's like, what?
Yeah. So one thing I can say is that the art style is brilliant, and Ito made spirals in a way that I never would have imagined them before, and who the hell knew a fucking spiral could be one of the scariest things to ever exist? He made it happen.
Ito's art style, it's unique. It is one of these specific manga art styles that you look at it and you know who the mangaka is.
What now?
The mangaka, the manga artist, the
Oh,
creator.
I never heard that word before.
Just like if you look at any of Toriyama's work, you know, Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest, Blue Dragon.
It's very obvious.
You know that's Akira Toriyama because of his, you know, sharp lines and specific way that he draws the eyes and the hair and all that. Ito's is just how grotesque and detailed everything is.
Very grotesque.
Now, I have seen a couple of stills from some of the anime adaptations that they've done of some of his stories. They lose a lot in translation.
I know I could not handle watching this. Reading it was hard enough. I could not watch it. Specifically because I have an eyeball thing, and there were 2 parts that were really, really difficult for me to look at because of that. But I powered through. I don't know how I did it. I did it for you and for the podcast. So I did really enjoy how this massive volume is split up into several different chronological stories that follow Kirie and Shuji through their spiral debacle. Of course, I read the story that freaked me out the most while in bed, about to fall asleep.
I was Jack in the Box. That... I haven't finished the whole book yet. I think I'm in chapter...
It's the freakiest.
10. And Jack in the Box was insane.
Fucked up.
It was crazy. It's like, holy shit. Like, who comes up with that shit? And it's one of those stories that falls into his type of category that is very normal things being extremely abnormal to the point where it borders into paranormal stuff. Like, he either does extremely paranormal shit or normal shit that looks paranormal, and it's the latter, the first one. And holy shit, how it ended up happening that that kid became Jack in the Box. Fuck.
And like I said, he takes totally normal things like whirlpools and tsunamis and fingerprints and snails and curly hair and fucking cochleas, for God's sakes, and makes them all kinds of twisted and just horrific.
You know, it kind of reminds me when he has the characters and they start going crazy. They kind of remind me of the characters in I Have No Mouth.
No, I don't like thinking about that.
Whenever something crazy would happen, or something, or they were being tortured and they couldn't take it anymore, it kind of reminds me of how they would behave and act. Like the mother when she starts going crazy in the hospital.
And she just like starts maiming herself just to get away from the spirals. I mean, it's just, it's rough. It's rough.
Now, I don't find any of these stories, at least everything that I've heard from Ito, read from Ito, I haven't found anything that's actually scary.
What?
Yet, it hasn't been scary. It's been more fucked up and horrific. Like, the Jack in the Box story is horrific. It's the whole premise of the whole thing is just horrifying. The mother going crazy, that is fucked up. The dad, that is fucked up. And the whole thing with Kirie's dad and him making pots, that is very fucked up. That part, I was like, this dude is fucking crazy.
And I can see your point, but I really did feel like that Jack in the Box story was very scary. That one was scary for me, but I can get behind that for the rest of them not being scary, just like
see, and it's those specific parts, like when the accident happens in Jack in the Box, where they do the close up. It's those specific little bits that make it horrifying for me, and it is those specific little bits that I love from how he writes and draws
Can you imagine living in this man's head? What must be going on there?
He is a fucking nerd. He is.
There's something far deeper than nerd going on here.
So he was in Death Stranding as an NPC.
What?
Yeah, you got stuff for him. He was called, I think, the Collector. So
the fetus game?
The fetus game, yeah. The baby fetus game.
He's in this?
Yes.
What?
He is one of the friends of Hideo Kojima. Like, most of these people that are in this game are famous people that are friends with Hideo Kojima.
Oh.
Like, what's his name? Jeff Keighley from the Video Game Awards is there. He's friends with Kojima. Mads Mikkelsen is there. He's friends with Hideo Kojima.
I like him.
Norman Reedus is friends with Hideo Kojima.
I don't like him.
What was the other? Conan O'Brien is in it.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's an NPC.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in that game that are just friends with him, and they're just there because...
Is he super tall?
He is a very tall NPC. Like, his hologram is really tall.
He's a very tall man.
When he went to Japan, wasn't he standing like 2 feet over him?
Yes. he's the red-haired giant.
That's funny. But yeah, Junji Ito, he is like very into kawaii stuff and cute stuff, but
waifu.
His writing is like,
it's
dude,
fucked
you're
up.
Fucked up.
He's fucked up.
So I gotta ask, are you interested in reading more from Ito? Ito?
Ito.
Ito. I hate myself for saying Ito.
So I'm gonna go with a very hesitant yes, but only if I step away from it for a while. Like, I need like a while to process this. And then I'll go back and read the other ones that you have.
So what's your rating?
So even though I did find it incredibly disturbing, I literally have no negative takeaways, except for the fact that I was freaked out. But that's not anything negative. That's how I was supposed to feel.
Yeah, that's the point of horror.
Exactly. So yeah, mentally scarred, but in a thought-provoking way. So I gave it 5 stars. I promise this rarely happens. I promise. I've just had a really good reading streak here for a while. Watch me wind up in a slump and not have any books to review for you for like the next 2 months.
You're going to be fired from a novel console if you don't have any books to read.
I'll review Grinch books.
No.
It's Grinch season!
I'll give you...
Not literal Grinch books, but like...
I'll give you Junji Ito's Santa Claus to read for Christmas.
Is that a real thing?
No, but could you imagine?
Oh! It would be like Nightmare Before Christmas, but
it would be like
better.
It would be like those episodes of American Dad where they fight Santa Claus. You've never seen
any of those.
Those are funny. I'm gonna make you watch them. There's like 4 of them, and they're very, very funny.
Oh God. Okay.
It's like they're fighting Santa Claus and his army of elves.
But yeah, it freaked me out, but I still enjoyed it.
So now you understand more about what Japanese horror is like.
It's very body heavy.
Yeah. It's body horror, not body heavy.
It's body heavy horror.
But it's like psychological. It intrigues you. It makes you want to find out more. It makes you want to keep reading. It doesn't want to like go once it grabs onto you.
But at least this one, it takes something very ordinary
and just
that you would never think about. Yeah, and just completely fucks it up.
I really want to talk more about the stories, like the one with the exchange student with the scar on her forehead. That story was...
Her crescent moon.
Fucking crazy.
That was one of the ones I had a hard time...
With the eyeball thing?
Yeah.
I figured. But I think we're just going to do maybe a 30-minute episode for Patreon. So... go subscribe, $2. We're probably going to do this sometime soon. We'll upload it to Patreon. And you guys can have a spoiler-full book talk episode. Because there's just so much to go into and to dissect. And God, it's good.
Yeah, I could have told you about every single one of those stories, but...
I mean, you told me the ending, so you asked if I wanted to know.
The ending is super intriguing.
And it's crazy. I'm still going to finish it, even though I haven't, but that ending, it's good.
It is very good.
It's good.
It's very well-rounded.
All right. So anything else you want to bring up, even though you already gave up the score?
I really thought that I was going to be finishing the month with the creepiest thing I've read. It's a reread, so I knew going into it, like, this is going to be my Halloween book. And now I'm thinking I should have saved this one. Who knew?
Well, at least it's good that we both didn't do something extremely horrific for a final episode. Even though next episode is going to be, both things are horror. Because I did something fun for this week. So let's go ahead and get into games and stuff. So for this week's game, we have Ghostbusters, the video game. A game in which you play as a new recruit in the iconic Ghostbusters team, helping them free New York from ghosts. This game was developed by Terminal Reality. The remaster was done by Saber Interactive, and it was published by Atari in North America, Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, and the remaster was done by, was published by Mad Dog Games. It was originally released in June 16th, 2009 for PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, Windows, and PSP. It then got the remaster that I talked about for PS4 and Xbox One and Switch, and I played the PS4 version. This game has a great legacy behind it. This game was considered by both Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis to be essentially Ghostbusters 3.
They know what they're talking about.
I mean, they're the creators. I mean, Harold Ramis isn't with us anymore. But hearing him in this game, seeing that he put so much effort into this game, it's heartwarming. He did care about the franchise. It was really, really great. So when I started the game, I was lost. I was so fucking lost. I had no idea who any of these characters were, what their roles were, who they were, how they became Ghostbusters. I had nothing. I thought, well, Ghostbusters, I've heard of it. I've seen the Universal ride when I was a kid and was terrified of it. So maybe I should jump into it. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. So I decided to watch the movies.
I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You bought this game not knowing anything about it except what you experienced on a Universal attraction.
Yes and no. I got it for $5.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's fine.
So, and I had always heard that it was a good game. I never really had a reason to play it or to explore it or anything, but I had never watched the movies, and I'm glad that I waited till I'm 30 now to watch them, because I can appreciate them and understand them way better than I would have when I was growing up.
Yeah, that humor doesn't really make sense to it.
It's a little bit dated. It's a lot of SNL humor.
Duh, come on.
A shit ton of SNL humor. It's
what
like,
do you expect?
It was Ernie Hudson in SNL?
I feel like he may have been, but I'm not sure.
Because holy shit, they work so well off of each other, and it's great. It's awesome. It was funny. I wasn't expecting to laugh as much. And I love that the characters are a mess. They're unlikely heroes who are straight up nerds, and somehow Bill Murray's Peter Venkman is a doctor, and he's just a fucking idiot. He's also an asshole in the first movie. He gets better in the second one. And it's funny that they all have a boner for New York City.
Doesn't everybody have a boner for New York City?
I don't.
I mean, I kind of do. But it is really dirty. I was very surprised by that.
They make a lot of jokes about that, too.
It's very dirty.
Yeah. I like also how the world is very lively and fun. It's very 80s, very, well, they were filmed in the 80s, so no fucking shit. But the game it's all very 80s. Like, all the cop cars.
Well, you gotta stick with the vibe.
Yeah. And like I said, the world is lively and fun. And the murders that they talk about and how these ghosts came to be, they're very gruesome.
Are they gruesome?
Dark and gruesome. In one part of the game, they were talking about this one ghost that they're hunting. And they used to call her the Spider. And it's because she would lure men into her room in this hotel, kill them, gut them, and slit their throats, and then just hang them upside down in the hallways for them to be found.
That's fucked up.
I know. It's from Ghostbusters. I was listening to that. I was like, what?
Yeah, because I feel like they talk about things like that, but then the things that they show are so hokey that you forget about the things that they talk about that were actually gruesome.
It's so crazy. And after I watched the first movie, I was fascinated with the whole world, with the characters, with everything. I wanted to know how their proton packs work, how they created them, how their containment unit works. I wanted to know everything, but it's pretty much all just explained in a montage of, I think we can catch ghosts. Okay, we're catching a ghost.
Let's do it.
And I was like, oh, okay, you didn't explain much, but whatever.
That's typical Ghostbusters.
And I did feel like there was this one specific part in the first movie where Ernie Hudson's character and Dan Aykroyd's character are having a conversation while they're driving, I think it's in the Brooklyn Bridge, going back into Manhattan. And they're talking about the end of days, how the dead are going to rise from their graves and whatnot. And I feel like they could have gone somewhere incredible with this. But they kind of like just brush it off. So I don't know if they eventually plan on doing something huge with that, if they ever continue the series. Although everybody's pretty old right now.
And one of them is no longer with us.
Yeah. And it's funny is that I think he was my favorite character.
He's pretty funny. Very, very dry. Very dry.
He had very British style humor to him. And the jokes in the second movie, they were great. I made you sit down and watch it with me.
I did. I watched that one with him because I had never seen that one. I at least am a normal human and had seen the first movie. But those ghosts. Man, I know this was amazing stuff for the 80s, but it's really tough to look at now. Especially those, the brothers in the courtroom scene.
That courtroom scene was fucking hilarious.
But those did not look like they were ever real people. How the hell did that judge recognize them? How?
Maybe because they were both ghosts that were in electric chairs.
Well, the electric chair was fairly common way back when, so how does he just automatically know it's the brothers? They look like monsters. One of them looked like a crocodile. I shit you not.
I love the second movie. I thought the second movie was way funnier than the first one.
You were just all about the Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis, I love Rick Moranis. He was so funny.
He's so goofy.
The part where he dresses up in Egon's clothes and he puts on the proton pack and
the earmuffs.
He runs outside and he's like, "I'm a Ghostbuster." He runs to the bus stop and Slimer picks him up. He says, "Oh, it's you."
Just gets on like it's no big deal that Slimer is driving the bus. It's fine.
And when they're checking the baby to make sure that everything's fine, both Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, they're like, let's check his reflexes, and they start snapping. And next to the baby's here, and the baby's like trying to look, and like, "Yep, it's normal." And they go into his room, and it's like, "Well, it's a baby's room. It's supposed to be messy." He's like, and Egon says, "Well, my parents didn't believe in toys." And Dan Aykroyd's like, "You never had any toys?" Like, I had half of a Slinky once, but then I straightened it. What?
The jokes in the second movie, are wonderful, but I do not understand why you are so hung up on that damn Slinky joke. He has talked about this every single day for the last, 3 days since we've watched that movie. I had Slinky once.
But I straightened it. It's like, of course he would. He is the only character in the whole series.
He literally repeated it 10 minutes later. We're watching the movie and he repeats it to me. I'm like, yes, I was watching right here with you.
We were reading Ito and I see a coil and I look like I had a Slinky once, but then I straightened it.
The fucking Jack in the Box. Probably where the coil is coming out of that kid's body. I was thinking God.
It's funny.
That was a missed opportunity for Ito. Do they not have Slinkies in Japan?
I think they do.
He could have done some really fucked up stuff with Slinky from Toy Story. Slinky Dog Dash.
Flight of the Slinky Dog? Is that what you were looking for?
That's not what it's called! Jesus Christ.
So, Egon, that character is...
his favorite.
Is fantastic. The part where he's conducting the experiment in the second movie and Dana's talking to him about what happened to the baby and not wanting to see Peter. And she asks, how is Peter? And Egon just points the scanner and scans her. And he says, he's good. That to me was so funny that he wanted to get a scan off of her before he answered. You don't think that's funny?
I don't think it's anywhere near as funny as you do.
It's just the quirks of the character. I think that's what I find so funny about it. And let's take the puppy away.
That was funny. Let's see what happens when we take the puppy away in this experiment with this poor child.
So going back to the game. The graphics in the game, they're pretty good. They look pretty standard for PS4. But the pre-rendered cutscenes, they look pretty dated. I do love that the character models that they used were based from what the actors looked like in the first movie. So it's younger Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd with his poofy top hair.
His hair was so poofy.
And Ernie Hudson with the short hair and the mustache. It's classic. So I think that was pretty cool. I did enjoy that. The animations in the game, they're pretty standard. Nothing to write home about.
So we've been doing that thing where I try to watch the intro with him. I really loved the the skeleton game. Medieval. I loved that. I'm so glad I sat through that. I made it 2 seconds into the Evil Within intro. I couldn't handle that. This one, I really thought I was going to be able to sit there and watch, but I just couldn't. The jumpiness, it made me feel so sick, even though it's not first person. It is technically third person, but you're right behind your character, and it's so fast. Just thinking about looking at it. Oh dear.
Now, I know that you did have a little bit of issues after the gameplay was done and they went into an in-game cutscene when it's where they were all standing around and talking.
Mm-hmm.
And you were asking me, why does it look so jumpy? Why does it look so weird?
Yeah, it was the screen was literally shaking almost.
That's what happens when that's what happens when frame rates drop.
What does that mean?
The time that the frame refreshes in a second.
Oh, yeah.
When it slows down,
mm-hmm.
That's what happens.
Oh. Is that normal?
No, it's not supposed to do that.
Oh.
But I'm guessing being a PlayStation 3 game.
Converted.
Yeah. They always kind of suffer a little bit with that. The sound design, I love the sound design in the game. All the classic Ghostbuster noises are there. The wind-ups, the worst, the theme song. It gets thrown around a lot. I like that. The siren from the Ecto 1, classic. I just love that.
It's classic now that you know what the hell it is.
Yeah. I gotta say, I waited this long. I'm happy I did.
It's classic.
Just like I'm happy that I watched Forrest Gump so late in life. So,
Well, how old were you when you watched Forrest Gump?
24 or 25.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
And are you happy that you watched Hocus Pocus later in life? Yes, he's very happy that he watched Hocus Pocus later in life.
I get the appeal of the movie. It's just
Next up, we're going to make him like Harry Potter.
That's never going to happen. That is never going to happen.
I'm going to read you the books in bed, and we'll talk about them on the podcast. No, we won't, because everybody hates Harry Potter now.
So, the characters are voiced by their original actors. So, you got Bill Murray.
Murray.
Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Harold Ramis reprising their roles. I think this is one of the last thing Harold Ramis did. Just this overload of Ghostbusters stuff throughout the weekend. It's something that I didn't know that I needed, but I'm glad that I experienced it because it was excellent. It was very, very cool. It was pretty fucking amazing, if I do say so.
I had to tell him how much he missed out on by not going to Horror Nights with me last year because they had that Ghostbusters house. It was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. The gameplay in the game, like Karradyne said, it's a third-person shooter in which you hunt and capture ghosts with a proton pack that is upgraded throughout the story. The upgrades range from a proton shotgun blast, a homing blast, and a slime gun, like in the movie. Remember in the movie they had that positive charge slime?
Yes. The loved. What was the song? The singer that the slime loved?
I don't know. It's funny because Dan Aykroyd gets blasted with it after he gets possessed.
Bless his heart.
He's like, hey, Janosh, I love you, man. He's telling everyone he loves them. Which is funny, too. In the game, he gets possessed twice, and they make fun of him. What's his name? Ray got possessed again. They just start laughing. So, the gameplay feels more like Gears of War than Resident Evil 4. You don't have the cover base because really you're going to have cover-based shooter with ghosts that you're fighting. They're flying all over the place. They'll get over your cover. Each weapon type works differently depending on what type of ghost you're fighting. Depending on the type of ghost, it deals more or less damage. So once you deal enough damage, you need to switch back to the basic proton beam to wrap up the ghost, slam them into the floor a couple of times to finish making them dizzy, and then so you can put them in the ghost trap so that they can go into the trap and stop hunting stuff. Each weapon type has a few upgrades that you can purchase with money from each ghost that you capture. Now, I do have a bit of a doubt that this is something that I wish I could have gotten answered. In the movie, they destroy a couple of ghosts, but they also capture ghosts. Mm-hmm. How do they know what ghosts to destroy and what ghosts to capture?
I don't think they ever talk about that, do they?
I don't know.
I mean, like, Slimer seems pretty innocent, just like a nuisance.
Yeah.
And Vigo was obviously very, very bad.
Yeah. The Carpathian.
Yeah.
What the fuck is even a Carpathian? Does he...
Andre! From 90 Day Fiancé!
Does he make paths out of carp fish?
Oh my god.
Is that what he's called?
Me?
A Carpathian?
What the hell?
She is really upset right now.
That wasn't even funny.
Of course it was. Look at your face.
I am not even smiling.
No, she is mad. So yeah, so you can upgrade these. They range from higher cooldown levels, faster working ghost traps, the usual stuff. The problem with the game, I only had a couple of problems. I had the game crash on me once. I did have a cutscene that was completely missing at one point. I could hear everything that they were talking about, but it was just black.
What?
Then I went to gameplay, played a little bit, got into another cutscene, crashed. Apart from that, I did have a couple of frame rate stutters, And those are basically the only complaints I have about the game. Now,
I just couldn't watch it because sickness.
Yeah.
That's okay, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun story. And yeah, I would consider it Ghostbusters 3 because it is same thing except no Dana. The praises for the game. This game is perfect for fans of the movie. As a newcomer, it throws so much so quickly at you that it can be overwhelming. That's why I said, okay, I gotta stop. I need to watch these movies because I have no idea what the fuck is going on. However, that doesn't mean that you should stay away from the game. I honestly recommend that if this is your first Ghostbusters experience, just take on both movies back to back. They're relatively short. They're funny. They're wonderful. They're charming. And they've cemented their part in pop culture pretty well. Like I said, 30 years, finally watching them. This game continues to build on the lore and the world that was established in the movies. I had so many questions about the world and the science of the world that maybe it's answered in the animated series. I'm not entirely sure. So I might have to check them out to figure it out. But I gotta say, I am fascinated. I am so fascinated with this crap. Oh.
He can't stop talking about it, literally.
Also, I didn't tell you, but this one time when I was working delivering appliances, Edgardo and I had to deliver to a house in a rich neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. And it was this patio set that we were delivering, and the guy's like, yeah, no, just come around the back with the patio set, just drop it off. You don't got to prepare anything, install anything, just drop it off. I was like, all right. We were carrying it. We drop it off right in front of the pool, and we swing around to leave, and we both just looked through the back window of the house, and they're having a Ghostbusters photo shoot inside.
What?
Yeah, they had the whole proton packs with the lights and everything, the full uniform. It was weird. The dude gave us $20 a piece, and we left, and we were driving, and we were like, that was a Ghostbusters photo shoot, right? It's yeah.
That's awesome.
It was. It was so weird. It's that's the kind of shit that rich nerds do.
I wish we were rich nerds. We're just nerds.
Hopefully someday soon. Overall, this is a very fun horror-themed game. It's not really horror. It has horror mentioned in it. And
that's okay because we had enough horror in our life this week.
Yeah. So yeah, a very fun horror-themed game that let me get to know these wonderful characters in a deeper way than the movies did. I loved the game. I enjoyed every second of it. It didn't overstay its welcome. It's about 10 hours long. So, I went through it in one sit down, basically. So I give this game 4.5 stars. It's not the most amazing game out there, but it is damn well worth the check out.
Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. You sounded like
the secretary.
The one that was
What's her name?
The one that was horny for
I am
Egon.
not horny for Rick Moranis.
She was horny for Egon in the first movie and then horny for Rick Moranis in the second one.
No, thank you.
All right. So, pay attention. Do you know what time it is?
It's garbage time.
There we go.
I did it!
All right. It's Give Me the Garbage.
Never heard of Taco Maker before meeting Chris. And when he first introduced me to it, I've got to admit, I was not impressed. I dreaded the days he might say he wanted to go to Taco Maker and I would devise master plans to talk him out of it. I think I may have cried once. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was a moseho.
A moseho?
A moseho.
Moe's has nothing on Taco Maker.
Moe's got queso on Taco Maker.
They can keep their fucking queso.
No, I love that queso.
So Taco Maker is huge in Puerto Rico. It's considered a straight up competitor to Taco Bell. It would be the only other place in Puerto Rico that would, put up a fight. It's considered better than Taco Bell by most people. Due to how fresh and flavorful everything is. It is real Tex-Mex food, and it honestly does everything Tex-Mex should be done right. Needless to say, I grew up eating Taco Maker. My favorite dish is the Fiesta Dinner, which I'll talk about in a bit. But first, Karradyne needs to get into her thing.
So yeah, I finally got into my groove with this restaurant after he drugged me there several times. Found my groove with the Mexican grill bowl. I feel like this dish is their fresh ingredients personified. It is everything good that you need to know about this place in a bowl. So their shredded chicken is bomb. Don't ever get any other type of meat there. I'm sure they're good, but the shredded chicken's so good you don't need to taste anything else.
I was looking at the pork when we went, and it's pernil, done like the shredded chicken. It looked pretty good, but I can't cheat on that chicken.
Their shredded chicken is so good. It's seasoned perfectly. It's also tender. Does it have a sauce on it? I don't know.
No, it's just a regular shredded chicken recipe. So it has some tomato-based stuff, garlic and salt and bay leaf and all that kind of stuff.
It's so good. It's so good. But my absolute favorite part is that you can get it topped with fried plantains, which I have grown to love like crazy. And
they do the fried plantains right. They burn them a little bit so that the sugars caramelize. I almost said caramelize.
Caramel. Oh, we need to watch that.
Yeah, we need to finish that. So yeah, so they burn them a little bit so that the sugars caramelize, and they actually release more flavor into the food when you eat them.
Yeah, they add like this perfect zing of sweet to another otherwise very savory dish. The edges get really nice and crispy where they burn them just a little bit. So they also contribute to the texture very well because you get that little crunch and also that sweet, just happiness in your mouth.
I remember my grandma Helen. She used to make fried plantains whenever she would cook any type of rice or whatever. She had them, and she always burnt them a little bit, just like I like them. And we would have mayo ketchup with them, which is just garlic, mayonnaise, and ketchup. Equal parts mayonnaise and ketchup, a spoonful of garlic. And I would just dip it in it, and it would be so crunchy and sweet. Then you have that hit of mayo ketchup. Oh my God, so good. Grandma was such a good cook.
Your mom made them for us one night, I remember. They were very tasty.
Yeah, she made them in butter. She didn't fry them.
They were so good, though.
Yeah.
They were so good.
Yeah, she does them better fried.
They were so good, though. Anyway, where was I? So I feel like the employees judge me a little bit, and I'm kind of over it. So I changed what I say.
So you know why they judge you?
Because I'm white and because I'm with you.
Because you always let me order first, so I start ordering in Spanish. And then they go to you like, ¿Qué tú quieres? And you're like, can I have the Fiesta Bowl?
It's not a Fiesta Bowl. It's a Mexican grill bowl.
Can I have the Mexican grill bowl, por favor?
We need to change our dynamic. I need to order first always.
Yeah, I always tell you go first. And you're like, no, you get it. You go first. You go first.
You know what? We're just going to go back to me telling you what I want. You order it, and I'm going to go to the fucking table and let you deal with it all by yourself.
I'm going to get you all the stuff you don't want in it again.
Yeah, he ruined my bowl last time. I was not there yet, and he ordered without me. And he made it the way I get my Moe's bowl, not my Taco Maker bowl.
They even put corn in it. They don't even have corn.
I hate corn in my bowls. No. Anyway, so they judge me a little bit for that. But then these bitches, sorry, not bitches. These people are very, assuming, I guess would be the better way to put it. So basically, when I tell them I want the green sauce, which is the spicy sauce, you would think that the red sauce is the spicy sauce, but the green sauce is spicy.
No, red sauce is the enchilada sauce.
It's nasty.
It's so flavorful and
it's
tomatoey.
disgusting.
It is the most delicious sauce ever.
It's the worst sauce ever. I hate it.
Continue.
I think that's why I didn't like it
Stop offending
in
me.
the beginning, because he kept having me putting this red sauce on everything.
Stop offending me and just continue.
Your existence offends me. No, I love you more than anything. Anyway.
We're almost a week away. I'm still on time to quit.
Yeah, we're creeping into the 8-day mark. So anyway, I told them I want the green sauce, and they always go to pick up the spoon for the red sauce, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and they're like, "It's spicy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I want that one." So now I've started to tell them I want the spicy one, and they still kind of hesitate, but they just go ahead and give me. I'm like, just because I'm white does not mean that I don't like the spicy.
Now that you mention it, I've noticed it.
They do it every time, which is why I changed it. Because at least now they don't question me. They hesitate, but they don't question me.
They go they feel so betrayed when they go for the red sauce and you say, no, the green one.
I need spice in my life. Just because you're a wimp and can't handle it doesn't mean this white lady can't. Anyway. I get really offended when people think I can't handle my spice. Really offended. So anyway, you top off your rice, your beans, your chicken, and plantains with some blah blah blah, with some fresh pico and sour cream, and voila, a perfectly fresh and very filling dinner. I don't feel bloated or like I'm on the verge of death, like I always did with my former beloved Moe's.
We should do Moe's soon.
Just as long as we don't have to do Chipotle. I've never been a Chipotle person. Their guac is good. That's about it. Their guac is good.
I beg to differ on both.
Oh.
Now, I have, every time I go, like I said, the Fiesta dinner. It is a platter that consists of a burrito smothered in their red enchilada sauce, with Mexican blend cheese, nachos, refried beans, and what they call a super taco.
The thing is massive.
The super taco is basically my dessert. After eating my meal, that is the one thing that I save.
He really does. He saves it for last every single time.
It is an 8-inch taco stuffed with your choice of meat, which chicken is the only right choice, so stuffed with chicken. Cheese, sour cream, lettuce, and tomato. That thing is amazing. I could eat 5 of them, and I would still want a 6th one.
And it's huge.
It's 8 inches. That thing is massive. Usually on the side, I order some baby nachos. They are very, very, very Puerto Rican.
They're disgusting.
They know that you're a Puerto Rican if you order these, because
they're not on the menu.
Only Puerto Ricans order this. They're not on the menu. You know how they ring it up?
How?
They ring up a side of nachos with a side of sauce and a side of cheese.
Wow. You have to pay for the sauce and the cheese?
Yeah, but it all comes up to like $1.50.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's cheap too.
I mean, yeah, that was going to be the thing I was going to bring up next. I mean, we got all this food and it comes with drinks. I mean, my bowl is massive. And it's $25.
With tip, it's usually $30, $35.
That's a very generous tip if it's $35. Especially since we're not being waited on, technically.
Going back to the baby nachos, they're smothered in the enchilada sauce.
The nasty sauce.
It is not nasty.
It's very nasty.
And they're covered in cheese and microwaved to delicious perfection. They have soggy, crunchy chips. And
you
it is
can
perfection.
make this shit at home. They literally stick it in the microwave in front of you.
Why are you insulting me so much today?
Because they judge me in my fucking spicy sauce.
And you thought my Egon jokes were bad.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. You think I give a fuck?
No.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god, it's so good. I used to eat this a lot when I was back in Puerto Rico. I do remember being a kid a lot of times and my parents having Friday night dinner and just going to Taco Maker. And good Lord, I love Taco Maker so much. And this restaurant is, the way that they're doing it here, they're not doing it like they do in Puerto Rico where they have, the standalone Taco Maker place.
But question, the one in Kissimmee is authentic, right?
The one in Kissimmee is 100% Taco Maker.
Yeah.
That is Taco
They don't
Maker.
have my grill bowl there.
No. They have everything, and everything is smothered in enchilada sauce. So these Express are more of a competition for Moe's and Chipotle.
But I still feel like they maintain the Taco Maker authenticity.
So all their dinner plates, all their dinner shits except for the bowl, is literally the same dinners and plates that you would get in original Taco Maker in Kissimmee or in Puerto Rico. So this is Tex-Mex done the Puerto Rican way, and holy fucking shit, it is amazing.
It is very good. It's so fresh. I can't drive that home enough. Like, it is so fresh. You do not feel bloated. You feel pleasantly full.
And the thing that I hated about Moe's is that after you eat the chips,
they're so greasy.
Not that.
They are greasy.
I always get around 2 or 3 hours later the worst case of the hiccups. Always.
From the chips?
From the chips. It's all the corn in the chips.
Oh.
With Taco Maker, that never happens.
The queso dough.
I don't care about the queso. I hate those damn hiccups.
Can we get Taco Maker chips and Moe's queso?
Don't insult my chips like that.
I'll secretly go get a bag of Taco Maker chips and go buy a bowl of queso.
I'm changing locks. So, are you ready to rate this food?
Yes.
What are we going to rate it?
It's a very solid, okay, good. Not bad, not but not garbage.
This food is borderline garbage.
Borderline, yes.
Borderline garbage. There is just a little bit holding it back from being straight up garbage. It's so little and insignificant, but it does such a world of difference. Like,
it's very easy to go wrong.
Yeah, like that one time I fucked up your plate.
It ruined the whole thing. I did not want to eat it.
What did I add to it?
You added olives, which I get on my Moe's bowl because I need some kind of fresh in the grease pit that is. And you put lettuce on it. I don't get lettuce. I just get pico and sour cream because I feel like the lettuce, I don't know. I don't dislike lettuce by any means.
Yeah, this time,
I feel like it takes away.
This time when I ordered my Fiesta Bowl, he asked me, so what meat are you going to have? And I said, okay, I'll have chicken. He says, do you want beans? I said, yeah, just put some refried beans in it. He grabbed a spoon and plopped the refried beans inside the burrito. I was like, fuck.
He also seemed to be very over his job that night. Bless his heart. No name calling, it's fine.
I wouldn't say so much, but no.
He's been perfectly fine on the other days we've been in there because we go fairly regularly.
Yeah, I think his manager was being a bit hard on him. But yeah, he like put the beans in it and I was like, oh, fuck.
You should have said something.
No, because it was perfectly fine. I'll just eat it either way. Sometimes it has beans touching it. But yeah, it's just like little things like that. If you don't get it perfectly right, exactly how you want it all the time, it's not going to hit garbage. Mm-hmm. When you get it right, it's garbage. Mm-hmm. But overall, it's okay. It's a hard okay. It is amazing. I cannot recommend this place enough. It's super cheap.
It's very good. Get your bang for your buck.
Yeah. You're not going to leave hungry. You're going to leave full. You know, you're not going to be bloated or anything.
But it's not perfect.
No, it's still pretty fucking great.
Yes. But still, just not quite there.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some housekeeping. Like I said at the top of our episode, Patreon is live. Please go become a patron. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, you did.
I didn't call him a Patreon or a patron.
You said join the Patreon, become a patron.
There we go. It's $2 a month. You'll find the link in the show notes. Just go subscribe. We're going to start uploading stuff there soon. We're probably going to upload something every 2 weeks. Just
Giveaways.
Talk with you guys. Do the giveaways monthly. We're probably going to be selecting a winner for Tony Hawk and Anxious People by the beginning of next month. So probably by the first episode of November. So just go subscribe. It's $2. Fun stuff. Support us. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole. You can also tell your friends that they can find a podcast on most major podcast streaming apps. And they can also listen on YouTube by searching for a Novel Console. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Also, if you do have Apple Podcast or Google Podcast, just please go in there, give us 5-star, give us a rating, a review. Doesn't matter what you say. It just really helps us move along, find new people to listen to us, and, maybe start a nice community, get this growing, have some more fun, give away more stuff. Karradyne has a bunch of more books that she's received that we need to...
Who?
Future ex-girlfriend has gotten more books that she needs to get rid of. So, yeah, if we can get more people on the Patreon, that's more money that we can use for the shipping so that we can get these out to you guys.
Holla.
And also remember, you can email us at anovelconsole@gmail.com. We will read your email on the show. We promise not to make fun of you. We'll talk about whatever you want. You can say the sky is blue. We will talk about how blue the sky is. Or we can talk about Karradyne's fabulous headbands.
Yes, Fable Bands. Tomorrow's Fable Band sale day. Well, when you're listening to this, it won't be. But if you're interested in purchasing Fable Bands, you can use code NOVEL10 to save. Promo.
You owe me.
I owe myself.
And remember, our art was done by Metamorphic on Instagram, so go give her a follow, buy some of her stuff, support our local Orlando artists. And that's it for the show. You want to say goodbye, Karradyne? Are you okay?
No. Goodbye, Karradyne.
Goodbye, everyone.